Hey, there he is.
How you doing, Christopher?
I am great, man. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Yeah? Let me open this up here a little bit. Good. You been skiing lately?
No, I've not skied yet.
Yeah?
I was actually in LA over the weekend visiting a friend,
Oh,
and played some golf out there.
oh, good
And
for you.
I've got a trip planned. One in March, one possibly February, and possibly another one in March. So it just
Okay.
depends on work and a lot of other factors. So
Well, and snow as well. I mean, we're a little weak on snow in the West.
yeah, I would have already been out, but it's been bad.
Yeah.
I talked to my brother today. He skied this weekend, but it's not
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. I've got a buddy up in Deer Valley, and he's like, it's a mess. I mean, he's like, we don't get out first thing in the morning. It warms up, and it's just slush the rest of the day. So, very disappointed with the snow up there. And my son's in Colorado, and he's like, Dad, it's not even worth going up the mountain. The drive from Denver is not worth it. So that's a shame.
Yeah, yeah. So it hopefully we always plan later trips because usually it's better in
Yeah.
February, March, beginning of April. But so we're
Right.
praying for snow. But
There you go. All right.
yeah,
Good snow.
I'd rather wait and see because I don't want to get something on the books for early February if they're not going to get any snow the next
Yeah,
3 4 weeks.
exactly. No, very
Yeah.
cool. Well, thanks for coming on our podcast here. This is something we've been doing now for the last couple of months, and I've been begging you to come on. So thanks for accepting the invitation. And
No, my pleasure. No, I was excited to spend some time with you. It's been, a little while since we've had some one-on-one time.
yeah,
So I was interested in hearing about kind of what's happening in your world, but yeah, just to
yeah.
connect and see how we can continue to help each other out.
I love that. And but being that this is a quote unquote podcast, and we're going to be publishing this, tell everybody who you are, what you do, how you do it, why you do it, kind of rather than me reading an intro. Better that you do it and get it right.
Yeah, so Andy Walters, and I partner with a company called Payroc. Payroc is an acquirer in the merchant services space. So we help businesses
Mm.
process payments. So one of the first questions I always get is, well, what's your focus? What vertical? And we can work with just about any vertical. It really depends on how the organization is set up in processing their payments, what type of technology they utilize, and if there's integrations available, if they need a point of sale system, what type of hardware and
Mm.
software. And it's really about what's going to be the most proficient and cost effective way for a business to process payments. And it's just again, people always ask me what type of businesses. Well, this the last week I partnered with a climbing gym, so a
Oh,
gym that offers climbing services, and I've partnered with a non-for-profit, so they gather
okay,
donations through their website. So they wanted a better way to do that,
okay,
and it's just companies I never thought I'd work with because
right.
my background is mostly B2B, large corporate type companies. But
Mm.
in merchant services, I've been partnering with all different types of organizations, which has been fun. It gives me an opportunity to learn more about different types of businesses.
Yeah,
And typically, I get a lot of referrals from current customers, and you never know what type of business that's going to be. I mean, I work with manufacturing companies, I work with a lot of medical practices, I do a lot in the trades, a lot of e-commerce. So
okay.
it's really all over the place. You never know what's going to come in, which kind of makes it exciting. I'd love to say because my background is IT and healthcare. I'd love to say, I focus
Oh,
on those areas because I've got a deep knowledge in those spaces. But because we can work with so many different types of companies, it's all over the map.
that's great. Is there an ideal client for you? And not that you would steer somebody away, but if you had your druthers, like what would be the perfect client? What would that look like?
Yeah, it would be a business that is functioning and running smoothly. Because a lot of times with small businesses, I see this a lot. The owner is working in the business, and it's difficult for them to really work on the business. So it's an owner that really puts the right people in the positions to run the business smoothly. I get deals done the fastest when I'm working with a CFO, a controller, or director of operations that understands merchant services and understands how I can really help them and support them. But yeah, when I'm working with a CFO at a larger organization, they get it. Does it make sense? Can I provide them a service that's more cost effective, makes their employees more proficient, um, uh, and it resonates with them, and it
Okay.
gets those deals done rather quickly. It is difficult working with small businesses where the owner is involved in so many different things, where
Right.
it's difficult for them to make decisions and really understand. I really try to come within my space, come from a different vantage point, if you will, where I'm trying to consult and add that value. But for some of those small businesses, getting even a couple of hours with the decision maker, if they're being
Right.
pulled in so many different directions, so it's just something a business that is functioning and running smoothly, and yeah, that's where I can make a really big impact.
Okay. Oh, that's great. So who would we know that's in your space that you tend to compete with on a regular basis, and tell us why maybe your people or companies are leaving those companies and coming to see you?
Yeah, so I work with a lot of companies that were with a traditional large bank,
Okay.
processing with them. And there's a lot of things that come with that. So typically, the big banks, they're in it for one reason only, to make money for their shareholders. So I actually got a few calls this week. Merchant statements came out over the last couple weeks. So merchants are seeing that, wow, I got a large increase in January, and it was something that they put on the merchant statements for December that, hey, we're raising your rates in January. So that's big banks are notorious for that. They ultimately, they don't have a relationship with somebody at the bank. Maybe they do, but from a merchant service standpoint, yeah, that's just an area that historically it's just rates go up, junk fees get added. They say, yeah, we the banks, they beg for the business, but then you partner with them, and they forget about you, and it's just about making money for the
Right.
shareholders at the banks. I come up across a lot of companies that are working with Square or Stripe or another aggregator where you get your flat rate, and that can be a great solution for businesses, but there's no customer service.
Right.
You should have a chargeback or an issue with funding or your technology, getting that fixed or resolved can be very difficult. Where you're basically working with a chat bot, or you don't have a contact.
Right.
A lot of my customers come to me for little things like, I need help with my PCI compliance. Well, I got a call on that this morning. I'm going to go out and visit my customer tomorrow and help them with their PCI compliance, just to make sure that they are compliant, that they're not going to get hit with any additional fees on that front. But big banks, other processors, there's a lot of great processors out there. But one of the first questions I always ask when meeting with a business owner or CFO is, do you have a great relationship, with that company? Have they taken care of you? If you've had an issue, what has been that response time, or how do they resolve that issue? And I do some things traditionally very different. I don't do contracts. I don't add junk fees.
Oh,
Your rates aren't going to go up after you started to work with me. So I'm really looking to build long-term relationships, and that's how I've grown my business, because I get the most referrals from current customers that that I take care of.
Well, as we've gotten to know each other over time, I always hear from you that you guys operate on a super thin margin. It's a volume business. It's a transaction-based business. You're getting
Yep.
basically a very small piece of that. So I would imagine companies that do a lot of transactions, whether they're online or for whatever they do, smaller, larger or smaller transactions, the more transactions, the better. Is that kind of
100%. Yeah.
okay?
So, from my perspective, yeah, higher volume, larger transactions is that's the what's in it for me
Okay.
aspect. Where we might be able to have a little bit more volume, more margin, but I typically price things very aggressively.
Okay.
I'm thinking I'd rather build a larger book of business, take care of those customers, and not have to then go back and increase rates and not do what's best for my customer.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I do. I mean, I got customers that do, you know, $5,000, $7,000 a month in processing. I've got customers that do $1 million a month in processing. It takes just about the same amount of time to set them up.
Okay.
So I'd love to partner with larger companies, but I'm going to take care of those smaller customers as well.
There you go. Good for you.
Mhm.
And I know that you're married,
Yep.
and you said you have a healthcare background. What were you doing before this?
Yeah, prior to partnering with Payroc, and that was about 7 years ago. Time flies.
Yeah.
I worked for GE Healthcare, so I ran service sales for them for a territory. I was on an internal board at GE. I managed an inside sales team for them as well. So I was on the road probably about 75% of the time,
Oh, wow.
yeah, while managing an inside sales team and being on the board. But it was a great experience. And GE went through some changes within GE Healthcare, and yeah, decided to make some drastic cuts and basically let my whole division go.
Okay.
And had great experiences in corporate America prior to that. I was in IT solutions, so I did that for a couple different companies for almost 20 years.
Okay.
And yeah, but yeah, I got into this because it was really a role where I could control kind of my destiny with how hard I worked, how well I could establish relationships, and how well I could take care of customers.
I love that. That's awesome. Well, I think you and I have known each other for 3, 4, maybe 5 years. We're
Mhm.
both an accelerant together here in Phoenix, and we continue to run across each other with our accelerant meetings as well as on the golf course at our monthly golf events as well, and
Yeah.
lots of other events. And we've got a big breakfast coming up here at the end of January. We'll be excited to. I think we're looking to maybe get over 1,000 on their RSVP list. That would be another record breaker. So
Mhm.
excited about that. Without getting too accelerant specific, how has accelerant benefited your business for the
Yeah,
time that
just
you've been in?
establishing relationships because uh, you network a lot, I network a lot. Certain groups can come and go, but it's really establishing that know, like, and trust with people within the different groups that you're a part of, and you're trying to give more than you get is kind of I'm just kind of wired that way. If I can try to help somebody out, maybe it's not with just a referral that, hey, Chris, I've got somebody that needs a mortgage, but it's like, hey, I've got a great contact for you. I was at a meeting this morning and someone asked for, hey, I'm looking for this type of referral. I'm like, hey, I know somebody, let me connect you. And maybe it's not a, this person's going to do business with you, but they're going to be a good contact for you. So I love going to different networking groups and not the typical person that's just going to be passing out business cards. I really want to make true connections and build that relationship because, like, even with Accelerant, there's been people that have left that I maintain those relationships,
Sure.
and you know, do coffee or grab a drink or play golf and still try to help those people out. But Accelerate itself has been a great platform to make make those connections and then continue to grow and invest in those relationships because it does take time to develop a relationship with somebody where they're going to really want to help you out, help you succeed, or it's just uh, within certain industries, like to make introductions to like this is one of my prime customers, and I
Yeah.
can't introduce them to somebody that's going to make me look bad to hurt my relationship with them. So I totally understand that. And I'm the same way. I mean, I've got some really good relationships where it's just like you don't want to introduce them to somebody that's not going to have their best interests in mind. So sometimes it could take, a few meetings, or sometimes it takes a year to establish that
Right.
relationship. So,
Absolutely.
it all depends. But if you go in with a positive attitude, you're going to be transparent, with that person, with their connections, and you're coming from a good place, more consultative as opposed to just, hey, I need a sale. It's just a different approach.
Oh, absolutely. You've always been that kind of guy. I think maybe that's why, you and I get along as well as we do and have for so long, not just because of golf, but certainly because of the approach that we take within our networking, right? What can we do to help? Let's sit down, let's grab a Zoom meeting, let's grab a cup of coffee. Tell me more about what you're doing, what you do, how you do it, why you do it, what's the deeper passion behind this, and help me get behind you so that I can help share that vision. And the more often we connect, the more opportunity there will be for you to be top of mind so that when I hear about, for you, a new business starting or somebody who's not happy with with what you do for them, the processing services, I can think, I got a friend, I got a guy, I got a
Yeah,
buddy that let me put you guys in touch, and then I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you're going to take care of the same way I would if I do what you do. So that's
100%.
it
Yeah.
does take
Yeah. And
time.
how do I continue to stay? How can I be top of mind?
Right.
And for most people, it takes them 5 to 7 times of hearing about what a person does to really understand it and
Right.
for it to resonate.
Right.
So it's you've got to be patient. For some people, you've got those really smart people out there that, hey, I get it, let's go. But for some people it might take a little bit longer, and
Yeah.
you've got to be patient. Rome wasn't built in a day. We've all heard that. So it does take some time, but hopefully the people that you're interacting with, they're also coming from a good place. And
Right.
the real world's tough. I mean, it's you got to put yourself out there,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
it takes a village because you can go quickly if you go alone, or you can go far if you go with others. So
Right.
yeah, building those long-term relationships with good people that are really going to get you to where you want to be.
Agreed. Agreed. And I've seen Accelerant and other networking groups I've been a part of where you're right, you can go it alone, but God, it is lonely, right? And we're all of us small business owners are here on an island. And, we have to make that commitment every day to get up, get on the phones, get on the texting, reach out, make a meeting. Let's, get involved in the community, get involved in something so that you can build those relationships, try to build that trust so
Yeah.
that when interest rates drop, as they have now, and I'm getting texts like, "Hey, you know what? We've been talking now for 2 years. Rates have finally gone down. Where are we? Does it make sense to refinance? Or we've been thinking about buying. Had clients 2 years ago. It's like January 6th of 2024, and I mistakenly, when I looked at the note, when they reached out and said, "Hey, Christopher, it's been a while since we talked. Now we feel like we're really ready to get in the market, and we got married this last year as well. So now we're really, thinking about buying a house." And when I connect them, like, I can't believe it's been a year. And they're like, actually, it's been two.
Yeah.
Because rates were in the sevens and they just didn't feel like now they're in the fives and sixes. And so, you take care of people, you do the right thing by them without pressing to sell them anything. And you hope, if you stay in touch, that when the time comes that they reach back out. And It's the nicest young couple, and I love working with first-time buyers. I had,
Mhm.
uh, I was meeting with a guy. No, I wasn't. Lie. I was golfing with a guy that I didn't know,
There you go.
and
Knowing
I
you,
got
that's par for the course.
I got paired up with this guy he owns two Keller Williams real estate agencies in Canada and one in Romania.
Oh,
And the
wow.
guy's written like five different books on selling real estate, management, all the motivation, a bunch of different things. So it was really interesting to spend 4.5 hours with this guy, not only talking real estate and mortgage, but also talking business, motivation, things like that. And the book he's got coming out soon is about how to really niche yourself, like pick a niche market. And when he works with his realtors, sitting down with them early on and really digging into what's important to them. I mean, yeah, you can serve anybody. When somebody says, I'm a realtor, well, for Phoenix or wherever, you can work the entire valley. You could work just a neighborhood. You could work just with the elderly. You could just work with disabled. I mean, there's so many niches you can pick. And he's like, too many people spread themselves too thin. He says, I sit down and I help people really figure out what their personal niche is. Like, what drives you? What gives you the most joy when you do what you do for a living? And
Mhm.
then expand on that and go deeper. And I'm like, God, that's so hard for me. As initially for me, I think first time buyers. I love the energy, the joy that we all bought our first house.
Mhm.
Right? When we bought it, it was that I didn't know if it was possible. I didn't know what I didn't know. Back in the day, nobody sat down with my wife and me and did a mortgage planning session like I do, which is why I do that now.
Mhm.
I want people to really understand what's involved in this pretty complicated process and not feel like that they're just, counting on their mom and dad or grandma and grandpa to tell them, no, that doesn't make any sense. Tell them this. No, let's sit down, let's educate first. And then if the timing's right, great. If it's not, then we'll stay in touch. And when it is, we're here for you.
Yep.
But I keep leaning, I keep thinking about that conversation with this guy from last week, and I'm thinking, if I had to pick just one, it would probably be first time buyers. Just because that's where I get the most joy in helping those clients.
Yeah.
And then I think the flip side of it, it might be the reverse mortgage side, which I call my last time buyers, right? They're retiring out here from Chicago because you're a Chicago guy, right?
Yep. Mhm.
Yeah. So maybe they're coming out from Chicago. I spent some time in Chicago growing up, so I can really relate. They're selling the house back there and they're moving out here full time. They've got a certain amount of money they're coming with. They sold the house, they've got X dollars, and they're thinking they've got to pay cash for a home because that's all they know. Or they've heard really negative things about reverse mortgage. And reverse has a negative connotation to it. I don't know why. Reverse sounds like you're going backwards, I guess,
Yeah.
as opposed to moving forward. So when I get a chance to sit down with with over 62-year-olds and talk about what their loan options are, and I bring up reverse mortgage, the initial thing is, oh no, 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 I want to leave the equity to the kids. And I've heard horrible things, and my wife's mother's aunt's brother, who whatever lost his house. Okay, but let's sit down and talk about what those options are, and then they go, wow. How come nobody's ever explained it like this to us before? And so I get a kick out of helping turn those attitudes around and say
Mhm.
how valuable a product it is. It's not for everybody, but it's an option. And to lay that out. So between the first time buyers who are just eyes wide open, we don't know what we know. Thank you so much, Christopher, for explaining it to us, to the seniors that are worried about being taken advantage of. They see the ads on TV all the time about reverse mortgage that don't say anything about them. They just talk about the lifestyle that you could have with a reverse mortgage. So anybody I get a chance to educate, I enjoy. But I think
Mhm.
I lean, if I had to pick one, it would be first time buyers. If I had to pick a niche, and then those last time, if you had to pick a niche, Andy, what would it be? If there had to be a vertical, you can only have one because there's 37 other Payroc guys in town, but you have to, and I'm not saying there is, but if there was, and they said, okay, Andy, you can only have X, what would it be?
Probably professional services. We've got some pretty cool solutions within professional services, and that can, if I'll rope in with professional services. We've, law firms, dental practices.
Right.
So we've got some really unique solutions. And a lot of times, I mean, like I've been doing a lot of QuickBooks integrations, and there can be a lot of use of QuickBooks in the space. So now QuickBooks is a great solution, but the processing piece can be fairly expensive.
Okay.
So there's some opportunities to really reduce costs while not impacting the business flow or process.
Okay.
So I'd probably focus within that space.
Okay.
And typically they're well run businesses. Yeah, uh, work with a number of different law firms, and
Okay.
they're run very well. That's been my experience. But
Well,
my industry, much like yours, can kind of has a reputation for people that it's just in and out,
right.
and it's all
Transactional.
about the transaction and the close, and then you're done, and you didn't leave them with really any knowledge, or
Yeah.
there's not really any process. So like when you're doing your process and doing the review, I try to do something similar within my business. So like, here's how it works. This is what this means. This is how interchange works, and this is how funding times, and just having a little bit more of a detailed conversation with them, and then I'll continue to be there throughout the relationship. Where I think the average tenure in my industry for a salesperson is probably 6 months to a year. A lot of people get into it,
Really?
they think it's going to be a quick hit. I'm going to make a bunch of money, but then they realize that they're not going to hit their quota in their first year. They're going to let go, and they move on to something else. So just being in
Mortgage.
the industry for 7 years
Yeah.
does say something.
Okay.
But it's just it takes some time with, like you mentioned, the margins earlier, and I was willing to take a big step back
Yeah.
when I started this, and it does take some time, and I'm trying to change really the perception of my industry, but it's
That's a heavy
yeah,
lift.
yeah, and that's why
Yep.
cold calling in my industry
Oh,
it is very, very difficult. As soon as you say merchant services, they don't want to talk to you. So that's why you have to do a lot of networking, and uh, spend the time to educate your current customers, so they actually are going to like, hey, this guy gets it, and they'll make introductions
right.
for you. But that's really how I've uh,
I love it.
continued to run my business.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for making the time. We're coming right up on it. Perfect timing here to kind of wind it down. And
Yeah.
tell us how to get a hold of you. What's the best way to reach out to you if we
Yeah, my cell phone number is it's a Chicago number that I've we've been out here now for 13 years. So but I give everybody my cell phone number.
Okay.
Call, text. That number is 312-415-5043.
Okay.
Again, 312-415-5043.
Great.
Or you can email me at andy.walters at payrocsales.com. That's Payroc sales.com.
We'll make sure that those get up on the screen here as
Okay,
wrap things up. It'll be there the whole time. I know I will see you again soon, no doubt, at one of our events, or
definitely.
meeting or orientation or the breakfast or something going on here, if not the golf course.
Yeah.
But
Well, Christopher, thank you so much for
yeah,
setting this up. I really do appreciate it, and yeah, looking forward to getting together with you again soon.
sounds good. Thanks for being on, Eddie. Take care,
All
buddy.
right, take
All right.
care, Christopher.
Bye bye.
Bye.